Treasure is everywhere. However, the question is, do you have the courage to seek the treasure that you want in life? I sure as hell am ready. It said on the poster that two men have sold their souls for buried treasure. Lost gold treasure up in the hills of Mexico. Well, indeed, they did. Two men sold their souls to the devil just to get a glimpse of wealth and riches beyond their wildest dreams that they could ever imagine. I mean, what do you expect? Two men, scruffed up, beat up, dirty, smelly, grumpy, and rugged. Dobbs, played by, you guessed it, Humphrey Bogart, and Curtin, played by Tim Holt. They end up hearing about a treasure in the country of Mexico, take a trip to the Sierra Madre to find the legendary gold of said area. That was spoken and heard by a gentleman named Howard, who was played by Walter Huston. On their travels through dusty mountains, crazy valleys, meeting up with village people to get directions on where they need to go, going through strong winds, heavy dust storms to meet their makers and to finding this gold. They end up going on trains, horses, you name it, meeting up with Mexican bandits willing to stop their journey, because once they end up finding this buried treasure, they end up becoming enemies towards each other. Because you want to know four main feelings that end up getting in the way? Ignorance, naive, narcissism, and most of all, greed. That right there is the best way I can sum up what the story of the treasure of the Sierra Madre is. Now, this movie was directed by John Huston. Now, I knew this name, but after going back to write some notes down about his film catalog of what he's done, he has done some good stuff. And a lot of his movies that he has done features, you guessed it, Humphrey Bogart. The first film he ever did was The Maltese Falcon. And other notable films that he did, like Moby Dick, The Misfits, The African Queen, Casino Royale, and the beloved musical Annie. Then you have Humphrey Bogart, who is an outstanding actor alone. Now, just to get it out of the way about this movie with the acting, Humphrey Bogart's a fucking gem. He's one of the greatest actors who ever lived. He's a grown man, serious, attitude, eye contact, believable, absolutely fantastic, has a fucking temper, knows how to make you believe in what he's saying and what he is doing. The guy is fantastic, just like so many greats. Now, you don't need to put on fancy makeup, have a big costume, don't need to have all this effects or anything. All you need to do is just have on a couple dirty ass clothes, a nice hat, grow out the fucking beard, and just present yourself well with the script you are handed, and just turn it into your own words and make people believe in who you are portraying as. And Humphrey Bogart is a fucking gem. He's done many upon many films that I can just sit here and recap all fucking night that he has done in his life. But to name some of the big ones, I mentioned The Maltese Falcon and The African Queen. There was also The Big Sleep, Key Largo, High Sierra, Sahara, and of course one of the beloved gems that everybody knows and loves as a masterpiece that ended up being a timeless classic and cherished by many people as life went on, Casablanca. Now, I already mentioned briefly about the acting in terms of what everybody did in this film. I mean, Tim Holt, even though he was a supporting character, but he made you believe that he was also a secondary leading character as well. Now, Walter Huston playing as Howard, the guy himself, he had a witty sense of humor, he had a great personality, He was confident and believing in this goal that he convinced his two allied friends into going out into finding, and him tagging along, trying to get his share as well. He was great. Now the story. Folks, this movie consists everything that you would want in an action, adventure, treasure hunting film. Everything you want is in it. You got yourself a straight to the point story. You got conflict, suspense, fighting, thrills, symbolism, stunts, good guy, bad guy, twists and turns, brilliant writing, and of course, like mentioned, action, adventure, treasure hunting. I can say everything that is out there within various action, adventure, treasure hunting films. And the thing is, you want to know what makes a big significance with this movie and how much of an impact it left? This is a movie that inspired the character that we got of Indiana Jones, played by Harrison Ford later on in the 80s. And the thing is, what makes this film so appreciating is that this is not only paved the way for future action adventure films with various different themes of like spies or treasure hunters or whatever, just various different leading roles and themes and plots, just different things. This movie was able to give us so many, but like I said, Indiana Jones was one of the biggest inspirations that this movie has given, that gave us that beloved character that we all know and love with such a witty, fantastic sense of humor. This movie's also got brilliant writing and excellent camera work. This movie took you into a trance that making you believe that you are actually there. The twist is perfect example of don't expect the unexpected, and not all heroes wear capes. Because the thing is that one thing that I would never imagine is that where you see the good guy, the main leading actor in this movie, turns out to be later on a fucking prick because he lets his emotional convolutions get the better of him. Then you have the supporting actor who is trying to convince and tell the other guy, don't be ending up like an idiot and acting all psychotic on me. We both found this together, we're going to share it. But in the end, one guy gets injured, he gets found by the townspeople, he gets brought back to health and with using nourishment and medicines, and in the end he is paid off with kindness. Do good and be kind, you'll be rewarded handsomely. But if you do bad and show greed, your emotional machinations will lead to severe consequences, and mistakes will end up being made. Going mad, letting greed consume you, and look what fucking happens. It's a perfect theme of why such a treasure, getting in between two friends where they had such an agreement of splitting between each other, having a fair share of the reward. I mean, gold. During that time, gold was worth something, especially for if you had like 10, 14, 24, an example of a number of carats that you had with gold and trading that in to get yourself a nice little pay. Gold was definitely worth some money all those years ago. Still is to this very day. So, folks, the treasure of the Sierra Madre. Like I said, I can go on talking about this movie, but getting to the main leading points, this film has everything that you would want. It's fucking outstanding. It's believable. It's got actors that you know and love, specifically a main leading actor. It's got great camera work, outstanding writing. The screenplay is phenomenal. It is a perfect example of what an action-adventure story should look like. It ended up being a big influencer to many action films as time progressed within the 50s, 60s, 70s, and the 80s. Humphrey Bogart is a goddamn badass, and folks, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, when I saw this movie, I ended up giving it a 5 out of 5. I have to admit something before I close this little talk out. I have seen so many films that came out all those years ago throughout the golden age of Hollywood. I grew up with the golden age of Hollywood. From the black and white silent era into leading in progressions where we ended up getting color and talkies and more stars coming into the pictures, both male and female. I've seen so many beloved pictures when I was a little toddler, a little shyster myself, a little fucking dingleberry. But this particular film I will admit that I did not see this when I was a young kid, and I kicked myself in the ass. Like, that is my only negative that I can say. Not from the movie, but from experience watching it, from my own personal, knowledge that I have, and films that I am well aware of that I grew up with. But for this, not seeing it when I was younger, hell, it's been out for all those years. I was able to see it now, and I am very fucking glad I did, because not only does this watch of this movie add more to my personality and films that I have witnessed as time progressed, but it makes me fucking proud and appreciate someone like Humphrey Bogart a lot more. Appreciate a genre like action adventure all those years ago done right, giving us such an outstanding fucking story that you just are glued to. A long-ass movie like this, but I'm saying that with good intentions, that just goes by so well and keeps you invested with so many details. I fucking love the hell out of this movie, and I recommend it to anybody out there. If you have seen any Humphrey Bogart film out there, or if not, check this one out. If you want to check out a film that came from the year 1948, or from the 40s in general, or gem from the golden age of Hollywood, this is one of those pictures that'll make you grow appreciation of what action adventure is all about, especially if you love treasure hunting movies. So with that being said, folks, that is going to conclude my talk on this movie. Ciao for now.